Hi, I'm Ava Mitchell, and at 32, I'd worked hard to climb the corporate ladder. I was proud to call myself an executive at one of Chicago's top marketing firms, earning $195,000 a year. Life was good until I met Ethan Roberts at a real estate conference. "You're the most driven woman I've ever met," he'd say, flashing that dazzling smile that made me forget all my doubts. We got married after a year of dating, and I thought my life couldn't get any better. That's when I met them, Ethan's 5 sisters, all divorced and raising kids. At first, they were just scattered voices at family gatherings. "My ex is such a deadbeat," Jenna would complain, her 2 kids leaving sticky fingerprints all over my freshly decorated living room. "At least yours pays child support," Tara would chime in, bouncing a fussy toddler on her hip. They'd smile at me and say, "You're so lucky to have such a successful career, Ava," but behind those words, their eyes betrayed something else: envy, resentment, maybe both. My best friend, Chloe, was the first to notice the cracks. Over lunch one day, she leaned in, her lawyer instincts kicking in. "Why does Ethan need access to your personal savings? You already have a joint account," she asked. I waved her off. "He's just helping manage our finances better." But things started to shift, subtly at first. "Babe, you should be home earlier," Ethan would say. "Jenna needed help with her kids' homework today." Then it became a constant refrain. "Family takes care of family, Ava. The girls need our support right now." One night, while sorting through bills, I saw a $500 transfer to Tara's account. "She needed help with rent," Ethan said casually. "We can't let her and the kids end up on the street." "That's the 3rd time this month." I snapped. "Are you saying my family isn't worth helping?" His voice turned sharp. "You make good money, Ava. We should share our blessings." I wanted to believe him, to see his concern as love, but the calls, visits, and financial demands kept piling up. I started to feel more like a human ATM than a sister-in-law. Things escalated. One night, over dinner, Ethan announced, "I found the perfect houses for all the girls. Within 2 blocks of us. Isn't that great?" I nearly choked on my wine. "All of them. How can they afford that?" "Don't worry about it. I worked out a deal through my real estate connections." Within a month, they all moved in. That's when my nightmare truly began. "Ava, can you watch the kids? I have a job interview," Jenna would text at 7 a.m. "Emergency. Can you pick up the kids from school?" Tara would call during my meetings. One morning, I walked into the kitchen to find Sophie, another sister, cooking breakfast. "Ethan gave me a key for emergencies," she said with a grin. I confronted Ethan that evening. "This is getting out of hand. I can't focus on work with all this chaos." "Maybe that's for the best," he replied coldly. "The kids need a proper aunt figure. You make enough money for all of us anyway." "All of us." My voice shook. It all unraveled from there. My savings had been drained through multiple family support transfers. Ethan had used my credit cards to furnish his sisters' homes. When I confronted him, his charming mask slipped. "You're part of this family now," he growled. "Stop acting like some stuck-up princess." The final blow came during a major presentation at work. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. "Emergency. Sophie's kids are sick. You need to come home now." Panicked, I left mid-presentation, only to find Sophie lounging on my couch. "Oh, they're fine now," she said, smirking. That night, Ethan dropped the bomb. "You need to quit your job. The girls need help with the kids." "Absolutely not." I shot back. His face twisted into something unrecognizable. "You ungrateful witch. After everything I've done for you. Done for me. I screamed. You've stolen my savings and ruined my life. It's called sharing, Ava. You wouldn't understand with your career-first attitude. What kind of woman are you? In tears, I called Chloe that night. Something's not right, she said firmly. This isn't love, it's control. Start documenting everything and keep any evidence you can. My once pristine home had turned into a chaotic daycare. My career was barely hanging on. I had anxiety attacks in bathroom stalls, my boss asking if everything was okay. Just family stuff, I lied. But it wasn't just family stuff. It was the systematic destruction of everything I'd built, my independence, my career, my sanity, all sacrificed on the altar of Ethan's family-first manipulation. I didn't know it then, but Ethan was playing a much bigger game. The houses, the money, the constant chaos, it was all part of a grander scheme, one that would soon blow up in all our faces. Everything unraveled late one sleepless night. On a hunch, I decided to dig deeper into our financial records. What I found made my blood run cold. Wait, what's this? I whispered to myself, staring at a loan document with my signature. A $50,000 loan. I never signed for that. The more I searched, the worse it got. While Ethan was out showing houses, I scoured his home office. Bank statements, loan documents, client contracts, it all painted a chilling picture of an elaborate real estate scam. Then came the text. My phone buzzed with a message from Lila, one of the sisters, clearly sent by mistake. Mia is such a fool. Can't believe she hasn't figured out what we're doing with the house deposits yet. Another ping followed, this time from Sophie. Ethan says once everything falls apart, she'll take the blame since her name's on the documents. My hands trembled, nausea hitting me like a wave. I called Chloe, choking on my words. Don't react, she instructed. Meet me at the coffee shop across from my office. Now. At the cafe, I showed her everything. Look at these loan documents, I said, my voice shaking. That's not my signature. And these client deposits, they're going straight into personal accounts. Chloe's face darkened. This is major fraud, Ava, and they're setting you up to take the fall. That evening, I overheard the sisters in my kitchen, their voices dripping with mockery. Poor Ava, so career-obsessed she doesn't even notice what's happening in her own house, Sophie sneered. Remember when she actually believed we needed childcare? Jenna snickered. As if we couldn't afford nannies with all this cash flowing in. I stepped into view, and their fake smiles froze. Oh, Ava, we were just... Save it, I said flatly, disgusted. Later that night, I confronted Ethan with the evidence. You forged my signature. You're stealing client deposits. This is fraud. His response chilled me to the core. Listen carefully, he hissed. One word to anyone, and you'll regret it. Besides, whose name is on all those documents? Not mine. Everything I've done was for family, he spat. You're just collateral damage. I acted scared, submissive, but inside, I was done. The next day, during a family gathering, I overheard Sophie on the phone. Yeah, the perfect setup. Ethan made sure Ava's name is on everything. When it all crashes, she'll take the fall. Poor workaholic wife, secretly stealing from clients to support her husband's struggling sisters. Jenna laughed. The best part? She actually thinks she's helping family. Wait till she finds out we've been living off client deposits this whole time. I slipped away to call Chloe. It's worse than we thought, I whispered. They're running a full-scale fraud operation, and I'm their scapegoat. I've been documenting everything, Chloe replied, her tone resolute. But we need to move fast. They're getting sloppy, which means they're close to their endgame. That night, I lay in bed next to Ethan, my heart racing. The man I married was a stranger. His sisters weren't victims, they were accomplices. And I was their perfect patsy, successful career woman primed to take the fall. But they didn't know one thing: I had a plan of my own. The morning I executed my escape plan started like any other. "Don't forget Jenna's kids need picking up at 3, Ethan reminded me, his voice casual. "Of course, honey," I said with a smile. Little did he know, I'd never be doing school runs again. I had spent weeks secretly copying every incriminating document and recording conversations on my phone. The day before, I had accepted a VP position at a marketing firm in Boston, a major upgrade from my current role and 1,000 miles away from this chaos. Meeting Chloe at her law firm, we put the final pieces in place. "The fraud investigators have everything they need," she confirmed. "They'll move once you're safely away." "And the restraining order?" I asked, my voice wavering. "With the evidence of his threats, it'll be granted immediately," she assured me. I had just finished clearing out my office when my phone exploded with notifications. "You backstabbing witch." Ethan's text read. "The real estate board just showed up." A message from Sophie followed. "How dare you? They're investigating our benefits." I blocked them all and boarded my flight to Boston. Within weeks, everything imploded. Chloe kept me updated. "Ethan's biggest clients are suing for millions," she said during one call. "And the sisters' welfare fraud got exposed during the investigation. They're all being evicted." I settled into my new apartment overlooking Boston Harbor. My new job valued my expertise, and for the first time in years, I felt free. Then the desperate calls started. "Baby, please, I can explain everything. I'll change, Ava. We're family. We made mistakes, but we need you." I sent all the calls to voicemail. Months later, I read about Ethan losing his real estate license. His sisters, no longer able to coast on fraud and welfare, had to find actual jobs. Ethan faced tax evasion charges that would keep him occupied for years. Chloe called one afternoon. "Your divorce is final," she said triumphantly. "And guess what? Ethan just got served with federal tax evasion charges." "And the sisters?" I asked. "Working minimum wage jobs. Turns out fraud doesn't look good on a resume." With part of my new salary, I launched a foundation to help women recognize and escape financial abuse. During our first meeting, I shared my story. "I thought I was alone," one woman said, tears in her eyes. "Thank you for showing us there's a way out." Last week, I received a letter from Sophie. "We're truly sorry. We were horrible people. Please forgive us." I dropped it in the shredder without responding. Later that evening, my phone buzzed with a message from Chloe. "Just drove past your old house. For sale by bank, sign is up. Karma's really doing her thing." Standing by my window, watching the sunset over Boston Harbor, I smiled. My new life was everything I had worked for and more. No toxic family. No manipulation. No drama. Just me, my career, and my freedom. Justice doesn't always need revenge. Sometimes it just needs time and truth. To all the women trapped in toxic families and relationships, I want you to know this: there's always a way out. Be smart. Be brave. And most importantly, be ready to choose yourself.